Good morning, respected examiner and also lecturer. My name is Sharon Chuanqi. Today, I will be presenting my final year project entitled A Study on Human Factors Influencing Warehouse Accidents in Batu Kawan Industrial Park, Penang, Malaysia. So this study was conducted under the supervision of Ms. Umi Azizara binti Omar. I will begin with the introduction of the study. So, warehouses plays a very important role in logistic and supply chain management operations. With the rapid growth of e-commerce and industrial activities in Malaysia, warehouse operations have become more demanding and complex. So, as a result, workplace accidents remain a major concern because they can cause injuries, operational disruptions, and also productivity losses. And previous study also identified human factors as a very key contributors to workplace accidents. So this study will mainly focus on 3 human factors, which is poor communication, fatigue, lack of appropriate skills, and examining their influence on warehouse accidents in Batu Kawan Industrial Park, Penang, Malaysia. So despite the growth of Malaysia warehousing sector, workplace accidents continue to occur. Like poor communication may lead to misunderstanding and operational errors. Fatigue can reduce workers' alertness and also decision making, while also lack of appropriate skills may result in a very unsafe workplace. So although the previous study have examined warehouse safety, but still limited research has focused mainly on the influence of human factors in Malaysia warehouses, especially in Batu Kawan Industrial Park. So this study will aim to investigate how these human factors contribute to the warehouse accidents. And this study consists of 3 main objectives. The first objective is examining the influence of poor communication on warehouse accidents. The second objective is to examine the influence on fatigue on warehouse accidents, and the last objective is to examine the influence of lack of appropriate skills on warehouse accidents. And based on this objective, 3 hypotheses were developed. The first hypothesis proposed that poor communication can positively influence warehouse accidents. Hypothesis 2 proposed that fatigue positively influences warehouse accidents, and the last hypothesis proposed that lack of appropriate skills can positively influence warehouse accidents too. So this study is supported by knowledge, attitude, and practice, which is known as the KAP model. According to the KAP model, an individual knowledge, attitude, and practical will influence the behavioral outcomes. So in this study, knowledge is represented by communications, attitude is represented by fatigue management and alertness, while lack of appropriate skills is represented by workers' operational skills. So the model suggests that deficiency in any of these aspects will also increase the unsafe behavior and accident risk in the warehouse. And so this KAP model will provide an appropriate theoretical foundations of the whole study. So this studies is mainly adopted a quantitative research approach, which using a cross-section survey design. The data were collected from warehouse personnel in Batu Kawan Industrial Park through a structured questionnaire. Possessive sampling was also used, and 86 valid responses were obtained, exceeding the minimum required sample size of 77. And the data were analyzed using SPSS, which is known as Statistical Package of the Social Science, through descriptive analysis, reliability analysis, correlation analysis, and also multiple regression analysis. So this slide represents the demographic of the respondents. Out of 86 respondents, most of the respondents were between 31 and 40 years old, accounting for 41.9% of the sample. And regarding to the job positions, 74% were warehouse workers, 19.8% were forklift operators, and 5.8% were warehouse manager. And this shows that the respondent posted a sufficient operational experience and knowledge relevant to the whole study. A reliability analysis was conducted to assess the consistency of the measurement items, and the converged values for all variables need to be above 0.7. As shown inside the table, all of the value exceeded the recommended value, so the measurement instrument were considered reliable and internally consistent. Next is the correlation analysis. So the results showed strong positive relationship between independent variables and also warehouse accidents, and poor communication recorded the strongest correlation with warehouse accidents with a coefficient of 0.912, which followed by lack of appropriate skills at 0.864 and fatigue at 0.845, and all relationships were statistically significant at the 0.01 level. And these findings indicates that the increase in poor communication, fatigue, and lack of appropriate skills are associated with a higher accident rate in warehouse. So multiple regression analysis was also conducted to determine the influence of each human factors on warehouse accident. The model produced an R-square value of 0.871, which means that 87.1% of the variation in the warehouse accidents can be explained by the three independent variables. Like among all factors, poor communication still have the strongest influence with a beta value of 0.524. And since all p-value were above 0.05, all three hypotheses were supported. Therefore, poor communication, fatigue, and also lack of appropriate skills can significantly influence the warehouse accidents. So the finding indicates that the poor communication is the most significant factors contributing to warehouse accidents. Like ineffective communications may lead to misunderstanding, reduced situational awareness, and also operational errors. Fatigue may also contribute to accident because exhausted workers are more likely to make mistakes and which will reduce the alertness. Lack of appropriate skills will also increase the possibility of unsafe practice and improper equipment handling. So based on this finding, organizations should strengthen the communication channels, conduct regular safety briefing, provide continuous employee trainings, implement fatigue management program such as proper shift scheduling and also adequate rest periods. So in conclusion, this study found that poor communication, fatigue, and also appropriate skills can significantly influence warehouse accidents in Batu Kawan Industrial Park, Penang, Malaysia. So among these factors, poor communication was identified as the most influential factor contributing to the accidents. To conclude, organizations should focus on improving communication system, providing continuous training, and implementing effective fatigue management strategies to enhance the workplace safety and reduce accident risk. So that's all for me. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your attention.